Sit down.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, of course.
I was trying to be quiet as I walked in.
We were just talking about the documentary that Hulu did on the Dana Carvey show. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it. I hear it's great.
It's so good.
That's so cool.
Were you a fan?
I never. Yeah, I remember. Kinda. I was always a fan of his on SNL, and I remember. I'm probably one of the reasons why the show didn't go because I didn't watch it enough. But I always heard it was hilarious.
They were showing like how poorly it was matched up with Home Improvement because that was like Home Improvement was like the nicest show on TV, and it was like the quintessential sitcom. And they actually showed in the documentary because what they did for Dana Carvey's show was as a joke, they had a real sponsor it every week. Right. So it would be the Taco Bell Dana Carvey show, the Mountain Dew Dana Carvey show, just as like a goof. And they showed this commercial, and they said, on Tuesday, a very special Home Improvement. And they were going, what's it like when a parent has to face losing a child? And Jonathan Taylor Thomas is like, I don't want to die, Dad. And Tim Allen's like, we're going to get through this. And he gives him this big hug. And then it goes on an all-new Home Improvement, followed by Mountain Dew Dana Carvey show. And it's just like right there in a nutshell.
Oh,
It's
my
like,
God.
This is not right.
Nothing took you down faster than those very special episodes.
Yeah.
I loved them.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Fucking Dudley and Arnold in the tub with Mr. Carlson from WKRP in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Who didn't love that?
Did you just cynically laugh your way through every very special episode?
Yeah, standing
Perfect.
ovations. Yeah, they'd move me. I'd cry. I'd laugh. It was wonderful.
Well, you never did a very special Freaks and Geeks. Maybe if it had gone on like a few seasons, you'd get to a place where you're like, I guess we need to do a very special episode.
Well, we had a pot smoking episode that I think the network tried to sell as a very special, and it was ironically it was the last episode before we got canceled. So maybe it did take us down.
What kind of cologne is that? It's good.
What, Dan?
Yeah.
You like it?
What is it?
Well, thank you, Jim. If you can smell it from across the room, I got too much on.
No, I have a very good nose.
Oh, thank you. It's Penhaligon's called Halfetti. Thank you.
Very interesting smell.
Thank you, sir.
Paul always looks very, very well coiffed and well dressed and very neat and presentable, and he smells rich.
Is it a Paul Feig suit?
Only
No.
the fact I'm wearing. No, it's not. But thank you. As you remember, my J. Crew. The J. Crew line sold out, fellas.
Oh, it did?
Yes, it did.
Wow.
So
It did well.
Yeah, but there's still accessories if you want them available online.
Are they going to do more of it?
I don't know. The thing is that everybody that brought me in to do it is gone. so basically.
Oh no, there was a mass firing.
There's a
Oh, no.
mass firing because of me. That's what
Right.
I do. Yeah. You know what? It's fun. My Twitter feed is very exciting because the fans of your show are clearly excited that I'm on your show.
Is that
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm getting murdered on there.
Oh, that's not like them at all. They're
No,
usually
I know.
very, very-
Let me say to your fan, I love the fans of the Sam and Jim show and the Jim and Sam show, and they should just.
You're a fun guest, though. Like that's
Thank
probably
you.
the Ghostbusters thing they're holding on, but you're a fun guest. I don't know if people don't like you.
Well,
you are. You're an open guy. You're fun.
If it makes
you.
you feel any better, I get that reaction to being on this show every day.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So-
Good.
They don't like me either.
They don't like Jim or
No,
myself either.
We're a
so-
unique fraternity here,
Right.
aren't we? Excellent.
Yeah, they hate listen. It's a really weird thing,
Yeah.
but they listen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all that matters.
Yeah.
All
it
the
is.
people that are shitting on you on Twitter, Jim and I have probably muted because they shit on us when you're
Yeah.
not around.
Isn't there anything better
take
than
that.
the mute button?
Yeah,
because they don't know.
No, and then you realize, you know what's amazing? I had this experience over the weekend when like you realize that somebody that used to kind of get under your skin on Twitter or something, you finally just muted them. And then weeks go by, and you're like, "Oh my God, I forgot that they ever existed."
Yeah, exactly.
Like they just disappeared.
My life is so much nicer now.
Right.
Oh, I wish I knew about that mute button about 2 years ago.
And you also realize though how like when, it doesn't matter when people are just bad mouthing you. When it's just because hey, we think you suck, we don't like you. Like it doesn't let them. I mean, they
Totally.
doesn't mean anything.
Right.
Oh,
People
totally.
It's fine.
People have always had opinions. Just because it's on the internet doesn't make it any more or less valid.
No, it's just the fact that it's in your phone with equal weight with everything
Right.
else that comes in your phone.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
text from your wife, a tweet from some random dude.
That's
it's the same.
Have they been giving you the business today?
Oh, yeah. Let me give you a little spritz here and there. Yeah. It's all good-natured fun, right?
Right.
Well, you know.
Well, it's nice to know we're making an impact, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
No, my favorite thing is that right back when Ghostbusters was coming out, the Hollywood Reporter said, "Hey, would you write a satirical column for us about why men aren't funny? You know, that's clearly just a joke." And I said, "Sure." So I wrote this thing. They still send that to me like it's serious, which kind of makes me laugh. Actually, I go like, "Wow, if you really think that I'm saying that men are not funny,
Right.
then
You,
God bless you."
would like to think of yourself as a man who is funny.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
My thesis is I'm not funny, basically.
And you're working with the Joel McHale Show with Joel McHale.
Yes.
Episodes every Sunday exclusively on Netflix. What is this?
This is, you know Joel's old show called The Soup?
Yes.
Where he makes fun of clips. That was my favorite show in all the world. And my wife and I, that's the only thing we've ever taped and watched religiously every week. And then it got canceled. And I said, with God as my witness, I'm going to get Joel McHale another clip show where he can be hilarious the way he is. And thanks to Lionsgate TV came in and helped us out. But it's all because of dogs. Dogs are the reason why this is back. I was out walking my dog in my neighborhood with my wife, and we ran into KP Anderson, who was the exec producer of The Soup. And I'd been on the show a few times, and then I said, how can we get the show back? I tried going through my agents, and everybody says, well, he owns the rights to that one, blah, blah, blah. I said, how do we just get Joel back on a clip show? It doesn't have to, it's not The Soup, and he said, well, interestingly, I was just talking to Joel the other day, and he's kind of interested in possibly doing something like this again. And so it's like, so we met and got together, and then suddenly we sold this to Netflix.
That's great.
So that's where it all came from.
And it'll be everywhere now, and it's
out
great.
now. Yeah,
it's
I was watching
right now.
I was watching it over the weekend, and I like that you guys added, instead of having the sort of audience that it was the cameramen that would generally laugh at the stuff that Joel would do. Now there's like a small audience that we see in the first episode, like they're kind of laughing and responding to the stuff that Joel's saying.
Yeah.
But I think it's an interesting premise for Netflix that I think Netflix, the one spot that they're struggling in is trying to figure out how something topical works on Netflix. Like I think they were kind of trying to figure that out with Chelsea.
Is her show still on?
No, Chelsea. But we're only the second time they've done like a weekly release, and now they just picked up Michelle Wolf for a show and stuff. So they're definitely getting into it. I think they really should, because it's just such a great platform. The only thing we have is we have to wait about 36 hours between when we tape it when we can put it up, so they can run their EQ
but I think
or whatever they do.
I think that the clip show is the way to go because it is the type of thing that you would watch online anyway. But it's also like, if you don't watch the first day it's out, you can go back. Like, the clips are still funny, right?
Yeah, exactly. But, but also there was talk at the beginning of like, well, do all 13 and we'll binge them. It's like, no, we can't do that because they also wanted to be clips of the week.
Right. Yeah, something that feels topical, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So Netflix has been the greatest partner on this because just they get it and they're fans of Joel's and, and Joel's so great because He wants it to be low tech. We didn't want to make it look fancy at all. So, it's just a green screen again. And even this, the audience is kind of unfolding chairs. We have a bit of a set. Yeah. But it's just that garage band feel to it, which I didn't want to lose that either. I like the purity of that show with a small audience. People, individual laughs, and that's what we got.
So how many people do you have to hire to look for clips?
We have a pretty sizable staff.
I would imagine.
Yeah. I mean, the good thing is that a lot of the people who worked on The Soup are back. Working behind the scenes with us.
And then what's the process for like clip submission and what makes it like, how do you...
We just have this great staff that just goes through clips all day long, and now we've added this big international component to it of international clips, and
that's actually pretty genius.
There's so much more stuff to choose from. Yes.
Oh, so many fun. We have on this current one that's out right now. There's a hilarious run from these Korean soap operas of how they love people getting hit by cars, apparently, on these shows. So there's just this, everybody's getting hit by cars. It's hilarious. But they go through, and we have these meetings every day called clip meetings, and people just present all these clips. So we watch and crack up and go like, okay, that one, maybe that one, maybe that one. And then, Brad and Boyd, our head writers, get in there, and they just kind of do it all. And then we have a team of amazing writers who then, write these wraparounds for each clip. And it just, just over the course of the week, it just kind of comes together. And then Joel is, kind of gives his final say.
Whatever happened to John Henson, who was doing that? I know it was Kinnear and then John Henson and then Joel. And I thought John did a good job too.
Yeah, John was really
talk show. Years ago. But I didn't hear much about him for a while. Is he just doing stand-up?
He's a comic now, yeah. I think he's just doing stand-up.
Because he was always super funny too. I watched those years too.
So is this the type of thing where you can kind of set it and forget it? Like, you can set the whole thing up and then go and be like, okay, I put the right guys in charge? How hands-on do you have to be?
That show would run itself, absolutely. I'm just such a fan, and it's so much fun that I just like being there. Oh, I love being there. It's so much fun. Almost like where it's might cut into my other work. Just, like, yeah, okay, guy, we don't need you here. It's like, but it's the most fun place to be.
How many weeks did they pick you up for?
13 is the first order, but I'm hoping we can push that much longer because this is the kind of show that just needs to kind of come on every week for all year.
It's got to be a nice relief for Joel too, because he was doing Community.
Mm-hmm.
There's the fucking White House Correspondents. Like these are
Right.
there's a lot involved. This is just much more of a fun, laid back.
And he's good at it.
And he's really good at it.
And it's a
yeah.
great supplement. He's out doing stand up, every
Yeah.
weekend and stuff like that. So it really, it's good, and it doesn't require mountains of his time. He can put as much time or as little as he wants into it.
Do you like doing something weekly like this? I mean, you've done stuff before, but you like the topical feel of it? It keeps you from on board?
I love it. It's just like having this great toy train up and running that you can play with all the time. And it was just, honestly, this was completely selfish. It's just because I missed that show so much. I just wanted it back on the air.
Are you gonna do newsy stuff at all, or are you specifically trying to avoid?
Yeah, the only news politics we will ever do would be making fun of the coverage of something.
Right.
We're not going to dive into any kind of politics whatsoever.
It's even difficult to do that, though, because it's like, well, of course they're going to make fun of Fox News.
Yeah.
Or of course they're going to make fun of CNN. We know exactly where they stand now. And you're like, I'm
Totally.
just trying to tell jokes, right?
Yeah, we just want to find like a funny anchor or a weird thing, if somebody farts on the air or whatever. So,
Right.
So it'll take a lot for that, for us to do something like that. But if we do, it'll be really funny.
Yeah.
That's the hope.
Yeah, it's kind of hard because no matter where you are now, people think you're taking a stance, even if you're just making. I've seen guys I know making fun of Trump. People get mad, or people if you make fun of Hillary, people get you can't even make fun of people without thinking you're lining up, taking sides with a gun in your hand.
Yeah, and it's just nice to take a break from that. So many people are doing it so well that it's just like, let's just have a show where you just laugh and you don't get mired in all that.
Yeah, I didn't know what the show was when they were first talking about it. I just didn't look into it much. And then when it popped up on Netflix, I was like, let me just see what it is when I see it. And I was so relieved to realize it was like that format, and he started playing clips from The Bachelor and stuff, and I was like, yes, this is,
I know.
Yes, you could just watch it and have a good time, and it's easy. And
I couldn't wait till we started streaming because everybody was kind of conjecturing what kind of talk show this and that. I just want to go, guys, it's just, you're going to know exactly what it is when it comes back.
Right. Yeah, because in the teasers for it, it almost looked like it might be like a John Oliver type show. It was like Joel McHale, and it was showing him with all this stuff going on, and Joel McHale's going to make sense of it, but then it comes on and it's the clip show format, and you're like...
He's making fun of The Bachelor.
Right.
You're like,
okay, much better.
I'm
Yes.
home again.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah, I'm pitching a show now. It's kind of similar.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What is it?
Just me going places and really telling it like it is and ranting into the camera.
I like it. Wow. I would watch that.
It's an hour and a half a week.
all one shot.
One subject.
Yeah.
One take.
And then just that you don't need to hire writers because just off the top of your head, right?
I'm like, you give me a subject and I'll just rant.
for an hour and a half.
Yeah, but
cool.
I got to cut it down.
Well,
Oh, really?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
wow.
Come on, Jim, let's talk. I like the sound of this show.
Isn't it funny how the word rant has just become so like, ugh.
Oh, I know. It used to be kind of imply something fun would happen.
Yeah, in the 90s, it was like, oh, he's ranting. 'Cause Dennis Leary was a good ranter. Like, you get guys that were
Oh,
good.
totally.
But
Well,
after-
remember, Leno was the king of that. When he'd go on Letterman,
Oh, okay.
and he'd go like, "What's my beef, Dave? What's my beef?" And he would be hilarious because he would just rant,
could just
in
go.
the fun days of ranting.
Right. Rant or riff or whatever it is.
Then it became a rant became you were going to be self-righteous.
Alex Jones became the king of the rant, right?
Yeah.
I think he's good at it. I
Yeah.
just think a rant
But it just
becomes
became
this-
something else. Like it became an
Yeah.
angry connotation to it.
Yeah. No, a rant should just be kind of like just complaining about something that happened to you. I feel like.
Yeah. Do you find that people are trying to pitch you a lot since you've become kind of known as this guy who creates?
What I get more than anything is people just email me like scripts, and it's like, dude, don't email me a script because that puts me in legal trouble. So we have to rocket it right back.
I will not read them.
No,
anything I get will not read it.
I don't open it. I send it to my agent, to my assistant, who sends it back to them.
If they're close enough that they know what your email address is, wouldn't they know the rules of how this thing kind of works?
I don't know who these people are at all.
Oh, they just figure out your
Somehow
email.
my company's email is out on the internet
I
somewhere.
see.
So it all comes into my phone, and it's always.
It's not that hard to find. People can find
No.
anything these days.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we had.
It's not P. Feig at.
My PIN number is.
We had our friend Sandy Kane had a cameo in the Florida Project. You know that movie?
Yeah,
that
oh,
came
yeah.
out?
Great movie.
And but she's kind of a disaster of a person. But she's fun. Like we like her.
She's a delight.
But she's not a movie star by any stretch of the imagination. Right. So she heard that Willem Dafoe was going to be around, and she was like, "We should do the show together." I'm like, "Okay." I mean, we don't have Willem Dafoe booked. His publicist. He's doing other shows or whatever. So I start getting emails with that she's sending out, and it's to my email and then WillemDafoe@gmail.com. And I'm like, oh, I guess she just knows Willem Dafoe from the set. Maybe they were emailing. And she came on and she was like, "Oh yeah, no, I just took a stab at. I just put WillemDafoe@gmail.com.
She's guessing
because I figured it would get to him.
That's hilarious, and it probably did actually.
It's like writing Santa North Pole and putting it in the
just hoping it winds up in the right place.
Like I'm sure it'll go to the right person.
Well, I got a few famous people that I go, "What's your email address?" And it is their name at somewhere, and you're like, "Oh, okay."
You
wow.
just guess. It's just about figuring out what server it is. Is it a .me? Is it a Gmail? What is it?
You threw me off the track.
So yeah, when they send weird stuff like that, it's like you don't. They think you're being like, I won't read jokes. I don't want to know.
No, totally.
I don't, because again, then all of a sudden, if you do something in 8 years that reminds them of one paragraph of that, even if
totally,
it's like fuck that. I'm not getting myself in a problem.
So what is the people have to send it to an agent?
A lot of times,
covered
yes,
by legal, and they know how to handle it.
They'll have a release form and all these things. Yeah, no, because that's my nightmare. Is like even like the subject line is like the script I'm writing right now. Vampires on Mars. Like I'm writing the vampires on Mars.
I used Venus. The whole it's hot there. The whole fucking.
That's actually much better. Much better.
Yeah, thank you.
Damn it. There
Sorry,
goes
that's Jim's. He said it.
It is,
Jim's.
man. Mars, the red, because the red planet blood. It was too obvious to tie in. Venus was
See, God damn it. That's why we have to work together.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have to be careful. I don't want jokes in just for that reason. And then people think that you took shit from them. It's like, no.
Have you been accused of stealing stuff?
Me? No. I mean, not since high school when I stole all of Steve Martin's act and pretended it was mine.
Right.
Yeah. But no. I'm unfortunately.
Because you're careful about it, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Were you doing it as stand-up?
Yeah. Oh no. Well, I was the first person in my school to discover Steve Martin, and so memorized the first album and then would just recite it to all my friends. Like, oh my God, you're the funniest guy in the world. And then he became more popular, and then everybody knew what a shithead I was.
Oh no!
So I learned a valuable lesson at a young age not to do that.
I would watch Carson late at night and tape like Rodney and Robert Klein and all those guys.
Audio
on cassette.
tape.
Yeah.
Totally.
Just a piece of shit audio cassette of Rodney fucking.
Oh yeah. I did the same
dirty lines from movies, certain like from used cars, certain lines that just resonated.
Mm-hmm.
And you memorized them?
Oh,
you just listen back to them?
The power of profanity.
Oh God, totally. I used to tape on my cassette player Fernwood Tonight and always play that back.
Oh, you know what? I did not know that. Who was in that? Was that Martin Mull?
Martin Mull and Fred Willard.
Okay,
that's the funniest show. They don't. I think for some reason there's some music rights, so they can't re-release that. That was the funniest show, and it was a nightly. Like fake talk show, super funny. It was from the same people. You remember a show called Mary Hartman?
Sure.
Yeah, it was the same people that did that. So
I don't remember what that was about.
That was a fake soap opera, and again, it was nightly. This, it's crazy. Like now we're so lazy now. We can't pull off stuff, weekly barely.
Right.
And now, every night, 5 nights a week, they had stuff on.
How long was Mary Hartman on?
It was a huge show. That was probably on for 2, 3, 4 years.
Okay.
Something like that. Yeah.
Wow.
Was it the actual soap opera, or did they show you behind the scenes of the soap opera?
No, actual soap opera, and they played it all dead serious, but it was completely crazy. She looked like the Wendy's girl. She had, it was Louise Lasser, who was Woody Allen's first wife, I think. And she was Mary Hartman. It was just super weird.
It's just amazing that people like Adult Swim and stuff like that. Like people think that is so like sort of weird and counterculture now, but the stuff like this was going on in the 70s.
Oh, totally. It's a weird thing. I'm 55 now, and it's like as you get older, you start to go. When you're younger, like you think you discover everything, and it is that thing. My dad always said to me, you kids think you discovered all this stuff," and it's like, oh God, no. Yeah, that's right. But people, younger people don't remember. I don't think a lot of people remember who Johnny Carson, Johnny Carson is.
They don't.
I can't even say it. That's all.
I believe if I'm with a girl and she doesn't know who Johnny Carson was, I want to fuck her. That's usually the rule.
That's the test.
That's the age test. She says who, I'm like, all right, you're good.
You're okay.
You're fine. But yeah, there was edgy stuff in the 70s.
The Tonight Show. You mean Jay Leno?
Yeah. Oh, come here, baby. And in 5 years from now, it'll be Fallon. If they don't know Leno, I'm interested.
Oh my God.
But it's weird. Like, there was some edgy and original stuff in the 70s, and people forget. Like, there was a lot of creative shit back then. In the 80s, maybe a lot of it was a little hammy, but there was a lot of good stuff in the 70s.
No, it's funny. I'm writing a movie right now that actually takes place in the 20s, and going back and researching that, like, they were fucking crazy wild back then. So you're like, all right, I guess everybody was nuts.
It's a comedy,
of course.
Presuming,
Well, it's fun, yeah. It's got,
do you have the
everything.
ending already, or no? Do you start with it when you do a film? Will your process be different? Or do you just start and go, I'm going to see where it winds up, or do you already know how you want it to finish?
I need to know the ending. I've stranded myself sometimes when I don't know the ending. It's just the middle that I don't know sometimes. But that's the fun part, because you go, okay, I got to get to here, so I can keep surprising myself and go, let me take this left turn I don't know how to get out of, and then the fun is like figuring out how to get out of it. Yeah.
Anytime I've ever tried to write anything, I know the beginning and the end, and as soon as I start writing the middle, I just get impatient and just want to rush right to the end. It's like 4 pages long or something. I cannot flush anything out because I know what the ending is. And I'm like, all right, let's just get there. Okay, are we done? It's like, no, you get 4.5 pages.
I know, but that's why second acts are they're hard. But that's why if you have great characters, then they can let you go on tangents and.